Thank you for listening to JC Radio Podcast. We're fans of music, movies, shows, and all things entertainment. This episode is special to Cody and I because we're outside of Empire Roller Rink in Columbia, Missouri, and it's the last time we're ever going to be there. You see, Empire Roller Rink closed down January 6th, 2019, and the reason why that's a big deal is because it's been a part of Columbia, Missouri for 80 years. We spoke with Emma Trent, who is a former professional roller skater, and her family actually owned the roller rink, and her dad, Willie Trent, ran it for 56 out of those 80 years. As long as I can remember being in Missouri, Empire Roller Rink was always a part of the mid-Missouri community. And they made sure that they were a part of the community. In fact, Willie went out of his way to talk to the different schools in his area, and instead of having the schools hand out pizza coupons for these kids finishing the reading assignments, he spoke to them mentioning that it would probably be better for the youth to be handed skating coupons for them to go for a free skate day for finishing the reading assignments. His goal was to make sure the kids were getting the physical activities that they needed instead of sitting in front of the TV eating pizza all day. Their intentions were always good and making sure that the community knew that they were always there for them, that their doors were always open. Not only were they open for the public for public skating, but they were also open for skating lessons and, of course, to be trained to be part of their professional skating team. I can remember going to Empire Roller Rink for school, for parties, for just hangouts, and it was always a fun time. They were very, very family friendly, and they were very friendly people in general. This is where Emma learned how to skate and eventually rised up to be part of the Skate US team for Worlds. Emma Trent is an amazing skater, and she has competed in Worlds in several different countries. Roller skating was a big part of the Columbia, Missouri community and just the mid-Missouri community in general, where people would travel miles and miles just to go hang out. It's going to be very missed, and we do feel that it is going to have an impact on the community. Anyways, here's us speaking with Emma Trent in the parking lot of Empire Roller Rink in Columbia, Missouri, January 5th, 2019. So what's up, guys? We're here with Emma Trent. She is actually a good friend of ours. Went to high school with her and everything. She is also a professional, professional roller skater?
Yes.
So the number one question on my mind that I'm pretty sure you get asked a lot is, what is the difference between roller skating and ice skating?
The difference between roller skating and ice skating is going to be the different skates that you're wearing. Obviously, you're going to be wearing wheels when you're roller skating, and you'll be on blades when you're ice skating. But a lot of what I do is not the jumps and spins from ice skating that you'll see. That's called freestyle or singles. What I do is more like ballroom dancing on skates.
That sounds really intense.
Yeah.
So how much time do you practice in a day to ballroom dance on skates?
Well, I'm officially retired from competing. I coach now. Yeah, passing along the knowledge. But whenever I competed, I put in about anywhere between 3 and 7 hours a day, depending on the day, of course, about 6 to 7 days a week.
So how long have you been, skating?
Technically since I was 2, but I started competing when I was 11.
So what got you into competing then? Has it always been a thing since you were 2?
No, I did speed hockey and artistic whenever I was really young, and then I didn't really get into hockey or speed as much as I did artistic. And then we had a coach that came in when she was a college student, and she used to skate, and she kind of got our program started. And I saw some higher level people skate, and I've been addicted ever since.
I know you've competed at Worlds. What places did that allow you to travel to? Like, where exactly were you able to go to with the Worlds competitions?
I've been to Brazil, New Zealand, Taiwan, Spain, Colombia, Italy, and China.
That's impressive.
Did that all start when you were 11, or were you like 12 when that started?
That actually started when I was 16.
Wait, when did you retire?
Last year. So 2017 was my last competitive year.
Where in the U.S. were you going to compete most of the time then until you got to that stage with Worlds?
I mostly competed around the Chicago area, but we had some competitions down in Florida as well.
All right. And obviously, anybody that knows us around here knows that Empire Roller Rink has been a huge thing here in Columbia for, about 80 years or so now. What do you think that's going to do with the community here in Columbia, seeing it, I guess, end up closing down, disappearing? Do you think anything's going to change, or do you think Columbia is going to kind of lose something there?
I think Columbia is definitely going to lose a gem. It's been a part of the community for 80 years, but it's been a part of my family for my entire life, and honestly more, just because my dad's been running it since he was 19. And there are people that come in to visit family, and they come in like once a year, and they come in just to skate, essentially, like to be with their family. It's definitely going to be a loss for people like that, and the community of like doing something active with their families and with their kids. As far as I can remember, every time we go out to a restaurant, my dad will talk to a waitress or a waiter and say, "Hey, do you have a family? Like, have your kids ever come skating?" And he'll give them free passes. He's always had free passes in his front shirt pocket, as far as I can remember. Yeah. So it's going to be weird, like, being with my dad and him not being able to do that anymore. So it seems like such a small thing, but the fact that it's just not going to be a rink anymore is just, it's a loss for sure.
So putting two and two together, I'm guessing the fact that your family owned this is how you were influenced into taking up skating. Has there ever been a moment in your career where you're just thinking, maybe skating isn't for me, maybe I want to try something else, or has skating just always been in your blood?
A little bit of both, actually. It's always been in my blood. It's always been something that I enjoy. And there was a point in time whenever I was probably about 9. This was whenever I was artistic skating, but I hadn't started competing yet. And it was kind of before I was exposed to some higher level competitors. And I was practicing all the time, and I liked it. But my friends at the time and some family members that used to skate as well, they started to do other things and get involved with school. And like a couple of my friends were older than I was, and so they kind of got started like talking to boys, and it like got into like growing up and stuff, and their lives just started to change. And I didn't know if I wanted to continue skating at that point, but I talked to my mom about it, and she was like, if you can honestly stand on the sidelines and watch, then go ahead and quit, but this is not going to be something that you're going to go back and forth with. And I really had to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask myself if this is something that I wanted to pursue at 9 years old. Yeah. And I made the decision. And as soon as I then got exposed to some higher competitors, I was like, dude, this is what I'm doing. Have
you ever had like an arch nemesis throughout your career that you just really want to destroy every time that you compete against them?
Most definitely.
Anybody at Worlds, or just anybody here in the U.S.?
Both.
Both?
Yes. She knows who she is.
Oh.
If she ever hears this. We both, it's so hard to talk about this. We were both very competitive people. Mm-hmm. Very competitive people. And in a lot of ways, I think we're a lot more similar than we are different. Which is probably why we were kind of arch nemesis. It was very interesting to compete against each other. And then there was definitely a few at the world level that I wouldn't call them arch nemesis or anything like that, but I definitely would go after them, essentially, in a competitive way.
So with the retirement of Empire Roller Rink, which, I mean, for Cody and I, it's pretty sad to see because we even grew up coming and skating here. I even worked here at one point, so it holds a special place to us. And then with you retiring, what's your plan now as far as the skating world is concerned?
As far as skating is concerned, and my involvement in the sport, I'm always going to be involved in artistic roller skating, no matter what, whether it's traveling up to the Chicago area to see my coach and continue with his skaters. But we are working on trying to find another rink that's sort of close by that our team can practice at, and or maybe another facility that we can continue practicing.
Now, you keep mentioning the Chicago area. Of course, we're from middle of nowhere, Missouri. How often did you guys travel up to Chicago to practice with your coach?
As I got better, I frequented the Chicago area a lot more, and it depends on like the point of the season as well. In the summer, whenever I was off school, I would spend weeks at a time up there.
So I guess last question, because we are running out of time here. We weren't able to really speak with Willie, who is the owner of Empire. Do you know what he has planned as far as retirement is concerned, or is he just going to relax?
As far as I know, he is going to enjoy the retirement that he deserves. He'll be out at the farm with my mom and doing exactly what he wants to do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Emma, for meeting with us today. And,
Thanks for having me.
of course. And you have a great day.
You too.
Hey, Emma, what's up?
Not much. How about yourself?
Not much. So while we were meeting with you at Empire Roller Rink, there was a question that kept stirring up in my mind I never got around to asking. So I figured better late than never. I was wondering if you could just answer a quick question for me real quick.
Okay.
As a professional athlete, what word of advice do you have to give those that wish to pursue a athletic career in their future?
I would say progress over perfection and consistency is key. Just because I spent a really long time trying to be perfect in my athletics, and I would compare myself to a lot of people, and it's hard because you don't see their bad days and you only see their good days. And so you constantly are judging yourself way harder than you need to. So I spent a lot of time dwelling in that negativity, and instead of focusing on consistently practicing just every day and getting better every day and just focusing on that progress rather than just trying to be perfect.
Well, thank you, Emma, for bearing with us and answering that last-minute question.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Well, you're welcome. And again, thank you so much, and have a great weekend.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.